Welcome to 843 TV. I'm your host, Lisa Richardson. We are here today at the Pete Dye Clubhouse at the Colleton River Club. And as you can see behind us, it's an absolutely beautiful view. Here on our program today are three members. They're going to share all about their story and all the things that they love about the Colleton River Club. First up is Miss Anne-Marie Neufelder. Next, sharing with us is Jean Lane. And finally, we have Stephen Dixon, who's going to talk about all about the bird watching and some nature programs. So stick around right here for this episode of 843 TV, where communities come to speak.
"843 TV, where the Low Country comes to speak.
Where Bluffton comes to speak.
Where Hilton Head Island comes to speak.
Where Beaufort comes to speak.
"843 TV,
Where communities come to speak. Welcome to 843 TV. We are here at the beautiful Pete Dye Clubhouse at Colleton River Club. And here to share with us today are three members to tell us all about their story, about how they got here at Colleton River and what an amazing place it is for them. So first off, we're going to start with Anne-Marie Neufelder. Welcome and good to see you this morning.
You too. Thanks for having us.
We're always excited to come here. As you can see, the scenery is just unbelievable. It's just so picturesque, and I'm excited to go out later and take a closer look. But we're going to be talking each about your story, each of you separately. But first up, we're going to share about you, Anne-Marie. And I understand you've been here for 7 years. Tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to Colleton River.
Okay, well, my husband and I have lived in almost every part of the country.
Oh, wow.
And we've lived in a lot of different residential communities. We've lived in 10 residential communities. And we were looking for someplace friendly, someplace that we want to have be our forever home. We're both still working, so we wanted to transition into retirement without having to move. And so I had looked at every community between Charleston and Houston, and we picked Colleton River.
Wow, that's wonderful. Now, you mentioned you're still working. I think that's something to note, because in fact, you don't have to wait till you're fully retired or done working to come down and enjoy. So share with us what you do and how you balance that work life and your life here.
Well, I'm an engineering consultant. My husband's actually an engineering leader as well. He works for a large company. And we're going to be working for a while, and we both travel quite a bit. We don't actually work in the Bluffton area. Mm-hmm. And so we both travel a lot, but the great thing is when we come home, we're here. You know, we're in our own private paradise here when we finally get off the airplane. So
yes.
it's really wonderful, and you know, the friendliness here is why it's not the easiest thing to travel to work, but the friendliness here certainly makes up for it when we do get home, makes up for the travel. And the reality is we'd be traveling no matter where we're going to live. We might as well live here.
Absolutely. And you've gotten to know some other members, and we're going to share a little bit about their story too. But I understand on top of your working, you've gotten involved with some neat things here at Colleton River. And it's football season, of course, everyone knows that. And everyone knows about fantasy football. I guess it's no stranger to the Colleton River Club either, which I think is quite funny. Tell us about that and how you organize that.
Well, a year after I moved in, I decided to start a Colleton River Fantasy Football Club, and the main purpose, honestly, is socializing.
Sure.
So that was the big thing. And when we originally started, there was 10 of us, and now there's 26 teams and 24 couples. And it's taken on a life of its own. Steve is actually one of the team members.
And she's a mean commissioner.
Okay. I can't wait to hear who has what team, so I think you're going to share that, right?
Yeah, so, well, Steve is a big Green Bay fan, and I'm a big Houston Texans fan. So we have that rivalry going on as well. But it gives everybody a good reason to socialize. We get together several times through the fall to watch games together. And the big thing, though, which is one of the best parts, is the we accumulate money for adding and dropping football players during the year, and that money actually goes toward the Colleton River Employee Holiday Fund.
Yeah, so it has a special cause.
Yeah.
So how does that benefit the employees for the holidays?
Well, it goes into their Christmas bonus at the end. They receive it, at the holiday. And what's really nice is they read off our names and they give them the check, and it's not a massive amount of money, but it's not trivial. So
Yeah.
it's fun, and they know that we're doing fantasy football during the year, so they cheer us on.
I think that's great. What a wonderful way to have fun and give back to the folks here that help make this place so beautiful.
Yes.
You also involved in the marketing committee.
Yes, I joined the marketing committee because of two reasons. The first one is I want potential members to know just how friendly this place is. And I want them to know what I found here and how great it is. And I also want new members to feel welcome. And the nice thing about being on the marketing committee is I know who's moving in and who's gotten here, and I give them a little bit of time to get settled in, and then try to let them know what kinds of things we have. The marketing director, Larry Ross, and we try to keep things on the website up to date, all the fun things for us to do. And I'm in charge of the Colleton River Next Door app, so I make sure everybody knows what's going on. And then the second reason is I want everyone to know that we're not just golf here, that we have all kinds of wonderful things to do. And, Colleton River Club is on a peninsula, and we have a lot of waterfront property, and we have a lot of water activities. And I'm trying to get that message out as part of the marketing committee.
What are some of your fun activities that you like to enjoy?
Well, I like to go down to our community dock. I enjoy going down there and watching the sunset. It sounds silly, but that's just what I like to do.
No, it doesn't sound silly. That's one of the best things about living in this low country area, the sunsets every night.
Yes. Yes, and we now have a new dog park, so I like taking my dog down there. And, I'm involved in a lot of the clubs here, which I think I'll let my two members, the other members here, talk about that. There's a million clubs, and so that's what we do.
So lots to know about Colleton River, lots to get involved in, and we're going to learn a little more from some of the other members. So stay right here. We'll be back with more 843 TV. Welcome back to 843 TV. We're here at the Dye Clubhouse at the Colleton River Club, and as you can see, the view is quite magnificent behind us, and we're enjoying this beautiful time with the sun behind us and getting to know a little bit about some of the members here. And so up next is Jeannie Lane. You've been here for 8 years. Tell us about your background and how you got to Colleton River.
We came to Hilton Head on a vacation with our two teenage sons. And the subtext of our trip was also to evaluate possible places for retirement. So we stopped at a number of communities along the way, and by the time we got to Hilton Head, my sons were tired of that. So
where did you start, by the way?
we started in Kiowa,
Okay.
but we originally started in Illinois. So
Oh,
we made
wow,
our
no
way
wonder they were
down.
tired.
Yes. But the day that my husband toured Colleton, my boys revolted and said, we're going to the beach. So my husband went by himself. But he was so excited about this community that he came back to the beach in Hilton Head and insisted we all get dressed immediately and come and see it, which we did. And we bought our lot that day.
Now, you told me that was some time ago.
That was in 1999.
Wow. So
we
nearly
would
20
come
years.
back on vacations and stay in the cottages, which are a wonderful asset here. You can rent the cottages and have a vacation here, and we would come and visit our lot and stay in the cottages.
All the while knowing that the time would be coming where you would come down here permanently. And
That's right.
So how has your experience been overall in these 8 years now?
We've had a wonderful experience. My son declared that he was getting married the same year that we were building our home.
Oh,
so that was
okay.
a very busy year for us. And they also determined to be married on 9/10/11, which was the statistical high for hurricanes in this
Okay.
area.
All right.
But I want
Yes,
to
it
point
is.
out that we had a beautiful, clear, sunny day on the back of the Nicholas Clubhouse.
Wow.
And our wedding was a very memorable, and their wedding was a very memorable and happy day.
I bet it was. That's wonderful. Does he live here now?
No, he lives in Texas.
Okay, but he can come to visit.
He was here this past weekend.
So that was a very fun and special event. Let's talk a little bit about an important program that you're involved with here called Lifelong Learning.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Lifelong Learning is a volunteer committee here in Colleton that was formed. It evolved out of the History Committee, which was dedicated members wanting to document the history that was discovered when this community was built. And it exists right here at the Dye Clubhouse. There is a beautiful exhibit. And the interest level among the community members was so high that they wanted to continue a program where they could learn about the area and simply learn, be continuous learners.
Sure.
So the Lifelong Learning Committee was born about 10 years ago, and it has provided between 6 and 10 events a year, all on a volunteer basis, arranged by our committee. And they typically take place at the Nicholas Clubhouse during dinner. Our speakers will speak for approximately an hour with questions and answers, and then we all have dinner and enjoy fellowship together.
Who might be among some of the speakers that you have?
We go across a wide range of topics. Of course, we have history in this area, which is remarkable history in this area.
It is, and every time we do a show in this type of area, there's so much to learn about the Low Country itself.
That's
it's just
absolutely
amazing.
true.
So,
So we have had David Lauderdale come and speak to us. He spoke to us last year about Robert Smalls, a very important historical figure in this area. We've had the Waddell Nature Center come and speak to us. We've had Marlena Smalls come and sing for us. We've had just a wide range of events that have been very, very popular.
have either of you attended one of these or gotten involved in this lifelong learning?
Yes, that's actually where I met Jeannie.
Oh, well, see, there
Sat
you go.
together.
How about
Yeah.
that?
It's a great way to meet new people.
Yes,
Oh,
it
yeah.
is.
And great programs too. I went to the one where they had the historian from Savannah
Yes.
that wrote the story
Yes,
about the Civil
and he's
War.
coming back this
He was
year.
fantastic.
Jim Jordan.
So all like lifelong learning, probably like a lot of the other programs you have, it's always open to any member
Always.
at any time. So it's a good way to decide what you want to get involved in a little more, or just come and meet new people. So
And we also have field trips. For example, this coming year we have a field trip planned for Beaufort, which is a beautiful nearby town. And
with a lot of history
with
behind that,
a lot
too.
of history and beautiful homes, quintessentially Southern homes.
yes,
We also have Lavon Stevens, a musician, coming to perform with some of his students for us this year. We have a woman coming who wrote a book on voodoo coming to speak to us, Carol Longmire, and Jim Jordan's coming back to talk about his new book. And we also have Steve Wilmot coming to talk
yes,
to
from
us
RBC
about the
Heritage.
history and his experiences with the heritage.
sure, of course. Well, Anne Marie, I don't know how you work and do all these things too. That requires a lot of balance. There's so much to explore here, and so share with us a little bit more about some other format of some past programs that involve life learning or.
Last year we had a ventriloquist who came and spoke to us about his experiences with the circus and the fact that he built his own puppets, which are extremely expensive and very popular in the puppetry world. We've had the Toomer family come and talk to us
yeah.
about the oyster business and their long history with this community. We've had Tom Barnwell, who is on the Hilton Head Wall of Fame, come and talk to us about his work with the Gullah community and all the good work that he's done in Hilton Head.
Yeah.
There's a wealth of things that we can explore here.
Absolutely is. So again, what more reason do you need than to come on down and check it out here? So y'all stay right here. We'll be back with more 843 TV. Welcome back to 843 TV at the Pete Dye Clubhouse at the Colleton River Club. We're learning all about some of the members that have some really neat stories and are involved with some really fun things here. And up next is Mr. Stephen Dixon. Good to have you, Stephen.
Thank you, Lisa.
Now, you have been here a couple of years, a little bit less than the other ladies. So share with us about your history, how you found Colleton River.
Sure. Well, my wife and I would come down and visit Hilton Head even before we had kids.
Imagine that. Most everyone's story.
That's right. And we would love it. We'd come back. And so knew that eventually I'd like to retire down here. When I was working, we had a place in Florida. We didn't like that full time. We knew we wanted to come here. And so about 6 years ago, we came down for a trip in Hilton Head Island. My son was playing golf. Driving back, my wife said, I want to visit some places. So in the fall, she came back, looked at all the communities around here, and then called me the last day, and she said, I've got a lot of going by. And so she bought it.
I've got a lot. Okay, so she didn't call to check with you first.
Well, yeah, she did. And I said, well, okay. And she's got a great history of buying properties, and I trusted her, and it's been fantastic.
Clearly,
Absolutely
she
fantastic.
did well, right?
It's fantastic.
So you were involved with more of the nature programs here.
Yeah.
And in particular, a bird watching group. So tell us about that.
Yeah. And it's different than, I spent 30-some years in the corporate world. I was a vice president controller for a Fortune 500 company. And I was still on two public boards, or one board before I retired. But I always loved nature. And I came out here, and you can look, and it's so incredibly beautiful. So about 3 years ago, I got involved in the annual Audubon Christmas Bird Count, which is a one-day event, a national event. And there were 30-some members out here, and it was a fantastic time. And then last year, the guy who was in charge of it said, I'm having a knee replacement. Can you help take it over? And so Karen Anderson and I took it over. We organized it. And what we found out about that is there were many, many members who were very interested in birding.
Yeah.
They hadn't done it before, but they came down here to explore the nature. They love the golf, but they also want to explore the nature. And so we started getting more formalized, the birding club. For the next 6 months, we're going to have monthly bird watches. We're going to have a beginning birder 101, where one of the experts is going to come in and say, hey, here's what to look for, different sizes of birds. And then we'll have the annual Audubon count. And so it's ways that we can get the members involved, just really understanding, exploring the incredible nature here.
And again, so much to learn just about the wildlife and the birds. It's just truly amazing. So as a bird watching, how does that work? How do you go bird watching?
How do you go bird watching?
I often wonder.
You just take a walk in the woods or out here in the marsh, and you bring your binoculars, and you just look at creation. It's just incredibly beautiful.
It is.
I'm an accountant, so I'm sort of a nerd, so I'll take my little book, and I'll check off all the birds I see, sort of collecting.
You count the numbers of how many you
That's what we have to do.
Forth.
Yeah, last year we had over 80 species, and about 1,200 birds were sighted. But actually how to do, you just get out in nature, and you just look.
Yeah.
And it is so beautiful here. We've got, again, over 80 varieties that I've seen here in the last year. People sort of get annoyed at me at the golf course because I'll bring my binoculars, and we'll go out to these holes, and I'll see a bird, and they'll say, Steve, we're supposed to golf. But I'll come back later then. So
what about you ladies? Have you tried some of this bird watching? Or
I have not tried the bird watching, but I certainly watch birds when we kayak, and
Yes.
it is a pleasure. I don't know all the names of them, but they're remarkable. To look out your window and see a blue herring right there is just, it's remarkable.
Now you mentioned kayaking, which is another wonderful outdoor activity. I understand all of you have a property where you can just get the kayak and go from your lot. What an opportunity!
It's fantastic.
So tell us about that and the kayaking and how that's organized.
Well, there's a formal kayaking club here at Colleton, and they'll go out once a month, different places, and then that's fun. But because we're all on the marsh, high tide, full moon, we can go out there. In fact, about a month ago, we went out right at sunset, and I think there was about a 9-foot tide, and about 8 of us went out, went kayaking as the sun was setting, and then went over to somebody's house and had a fire and some beverages, and it was a lot of fun.
Absolutely beautiful. And you mentioned the tides. That's another thing, just so much to learn about the tides and the different ranges and how that plays into even the birds and what they do, and it's just amazing stuff. So someone said you might be kayaking to the fantasy football thing. Is that true?
Yeah. I live across the marsh from Anne Marie, and it wasn't high enough tide, but
That's funny.
all right.
What an interesting way to travel, right? I can say that. So what else besides nature again? There's birds, there's kayaking. Are there any other things that you're interested in doing here outside of those categories?
Well, golf is number one.
Okay.
But the biking. When I was working, I had a commute, and I didn't have the time to exercise that I should have. So I was able to retire, and just made a focus on trying to get in better shape. And it might not look like it, but I'm in a lot better shape than I was. And so this is a beautiful place to bicycle. They've got a beautiful pool, kayaking. It's just an incredible place to get outdoor exercise, and I love that.
And as I was coming in here, which I've been here many times, noticed all the sidewalks that you can bike on and travel and see all the homes and just all the things. And I think that's how you really explore, when you just get out and
You
go.
just get out,
and you
that's
see
right.
the wildlife and what's happening through the trees, and it's just a wonderful place.
Oh, yeah.
So having spoken to all of you now, clearly it's a wonderful opportunity and a wonderful place to be. What would you share to someone who's maybe trying to make a decision on where to retire or where to buy property? Any last thoughts that you might want to help encourage someone and help make them decide?
I think this is a forever home kind of
Okay.
place. If you're looking for, some place to spend 1 or 2 weeks a year, I don't think this is it. If you're looking for some place that you want to ultimately live in full time, and even if you're not all the way there yet, some people move down here when they're not quite retired and they spend part of the year. This is a great place for that. I think this is a great forever home.
Yeah, the joke is that when we die and get to heaven, we hope we're not disappointed.
Well, I think we all can agree that it's a wonderful place, it's a beautiful place, and I've enjoyed talking to you all today and being here as always, and we thank you all for watching this episode of 843 TV, where communities come to speak.